Hey, what's up, everyone? Nice meeting you. My name is Horacio. I'm the founder of Grow Baby Grow. We're a marketing agency and we specialize in helping cleaning companies and home service grow through systems and automation. So I'm here to talk about the 3 systems to 3x your ROI without the extra ad spend. All right, so I've been doing this for the last 5.5 years. So I've been through the ropes, I got some scars, and I'm hoping to share some knowledge that helps some of you out there. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to say is I talk to a lot of business owners out there, a lot of cleaning company owners, and a lot of times they feel like the growth is just out of reach, right? Like they hit like a ceiling or they're in a plateau and it seems like their goals is so always just out of reach, right? So I just want to start off with saying that if you feel like that, then it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. A lot of you are working really hard, right? And then we're living in a time that is hard with so many gurus out there, so many tactics, so many resources, so much information that it's hard to determine what really is signal versus noise, right? There's a saying from Tony Robbins that I really like. He says, we're living in a time where we're drowning in information, but we're starving for wisdom, right? So it's been really, really hard. A lot of times is all these different companies, like where should I invest my money, right? Like is it Yelp, is it LSA, is it Google Ads, is it Facebook Ads? And we get stuck in this ad treadmill trying to chase this big tech company that's always going to feed us cheap leads with the belief that more traffic is going to equal better results. And it's not always like that. I'm here to tell you, more traffic, yes, it's important. It's important to get leads. It's important to keep the price of those leads down. But this whole thing that if you get more traffic, all your problems are going to be fixed is part of an old playbook. And part of my purpose with this presentation here today is to kind of like just burn that playbook and change it to, a new set of belief. If you think that it shouldn't be too hard to grow, you are probably right. The reality is that like a lot of you are hustling really hard, right? And more hustle is not going to fix the bottleneck, right? You need to identify what the bottleneck is. And a lot of times is having a system, right? A consistent system that can help you get predictable sales, increase the lifetime value of your customers, decrease your customer acquisition costs. And a lot of times just implementing the system is going to give you back more freedom. So one of the big things that I'm trying to communicate today is that, right? Like it's the importance of systems. So first of all, who am I speaking to, right? There's 2 main people, like avatars that I'm speaking to today. So if you're just getting started in the cleaning business and you're just trying to get some ideas, I'm hoping that this presentation is going to give you the right mindset. It's also going to show you what are the right systems so you can implement this early on and then have a faster like growth and faster results than if you're not implementing the systems or if you're just implementing them down the road. And I'm also hoping that it's going to help you avoid some of the costly mistakes that I have made and other businesses that I have worked with. I've seen them made. And the other person is, if you're already in the game, but you feel stuck, right? You might be doing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in revenue or even more, but you feel like you have hit a ceiling. Maybe it's your recurring customers that is not growing. So I'm hoping that if you're listening to this, to give you what are the bottlenecks, right? Help you spot these bottlenecks, teach you exactly how to fix them, and also teach you how to scale without burning cash on ads. Okay, so my goal in the next 35 minutes or so is to share my belief that better systems and not prettier ads are the key to profitably unlocking growth in your cleaning business. Right? This is my goal. It's better system. It's not prettier ads. So let me give you a little background on how I got here. I didn't start in the cleaning industry. I actually had a backpackers hostel. I founded it in 2015, so about 10 years ago, back in my country, Nicaragua, San Juan del Sur. This was a booming town at that point in tourism. So as soon as we opened, we had almost full occupancy and we're doing really well. It was kind of like whenever the stock market is going up, that everybody's making money and everybody feels like they're a genius, right? I'm like, having a business is so easy, right? But then inevitably, things happen. So in 2018, there was a big political unrest in my country, and all of a sudden, my hostel's occupancy went from 9% to 5%. Everything changed. It was like a slap in the face. So at that moment, I realized that it's not it's the systems that's going to save you, right? Like it's having the right systems is what's going to get you through the hard times. The good times, yeah, everybody can make money in the good side, but you want a business that is resilient and a business that is prone to economic recessions, right? And like anything, like it's stability. So that was a big moment of realization for me. I'm going to put here a good timeline. So 2018, we had the crisis in Nicaragua. We learned that learn systems or sink. Then 2019, tourism got better. We were actually a big catalyst in bringing the tourism back in Nicaragua, thanks to the systems that we've implemented. Sorry for another day, but we were we didn't have as much revenue at that time, but we were more profitable because we implemented these systems. Then in 2020, as we all know, COVID hits. We had to close the hostel for a year and a half. Now it's open. Like working like 5 hours a week on that business anymore, and it's still succeeding again because of the systems. But in 2020, I go into marketing. So one of my first opportunities in the cleaning industry comes with Mady's Cleaning. Mady's, Neil is the founder, is a friend of mine. He's also a speaker in this conference. So he hired me. Like he was one of my first clients. And at that moment, his business was very established. He has a cleaning company in LA. Now he has a franchise as well. But at that moment, he hired me in the marketing role for his company in LA. So we tried every tactic, right? We were on Yelp, we were on LSA, we were on Google Ads, we were on Thumbtack, we run Meta ads, we run TikTok ads. And, we kept chasing all these resources. And then we saw that the price went up, or we saw that we were not, converting enough, or we didn't have an ROI. So there was specifically LSA was working most back then. And then I remember one Monday I'm reviewing the metrics and I see that LSA just increased overnight, right? Like 25% increase over the last couple of weeks. And that really killed the revenue, right? Like that meant that we were not profitable, or I thought that we were not profitable. So it kind of like made us pivot and try to think of, like what are we going to do, right? If we don't fix this, then we're not going to have stable sales. And then eventually the business can even die. So I remember that Neil, who again is a friend and in many ways has been a mentor for me, he sent me this book, it's .com Secrets by Russell Brunson, and he talks about funnels. And I went down the rabbit hole, right? I finished that book within the weekend. I bought all these other books. I went through like Dan Kennedy, which is all the other marketers that are in this area. And I went through the funnel rabbit hole, right? Funnels. If I talk about funnels in this presentation, I'm talking about systems, right? It's like a system to do something. You have a funnel or a system to generate leads. You have a funnel or a system to nurture your leads. You have a funnel or a system to retain your customers. So I went through all the conferences. I'm still, super obsessed with this topic, as you can see. So I went over here and I remember one of the quotes that I learned or that I read it really changed the way that I think about this. And the quote is, the purpose of the first purchase isn't to make a profit, it's to acquire a customer. I want to repeat this because it's so important. It's kind of like at the core of this presentation. The purpose of the first purchase isn't to make a profit, it's to acquire a customer. It is okay if you're not being super profitable in your first purchase, as long as you understand what is the value of your customer, and then you can just do the math and work backwards. It's okay to break even. I mean, of course, if you can make a profit on the first transaction with a customer, it's okay. But if you're breaking even and you're getting your profit on month 2, because you know that one-time customers are going to come back, or because you're getting a recurring customer, then it changes everything, right? It's all about the lifetime value of a customer and the customer acquisition cost. And that's the mathematical, equation that you need to be thinking of as I go through this presentation. So we realized we didn't need better ads. We just needed better systems. So we came up with a 3-part system, which is what we'll cover today, which involves your lead conversion engine, how you convert more leads of the ones that you already generated from your ads and all the other marketing sources, your retention maximizer, which is how do you increase the lifetime value of your customers, and the win back machine, which is all these that didn't convert and all the customers who cancel, how do you keep coming back to them, right? How do you keep reactivating them so that they can again become an opportunity for you to sell? Quick show here of what happened whenever we implemented these systems. Within 6 months, Mady's LA went 73% increase in new sales, like on their weekly sales, 73% increase. And within the same time frame, they had a 58% increase in recurring customers. And that was amazing. Neil was able to kind of delegate within me and the rest of the team because we had a strategy in place. The business was stable. The business, it was growing. It continues to grow. And he was able to actually focus on franchising. And now he's franchising on a nationwide with over 30 locations and growing super fast for the last few years. So it's super impressive what these systems can do. So, let's get to it. So today we're going to cover number 1, which is your lead conversion engine. System number 2 is your retention maximizer. Again, retention maximizer is you get a customer. How do you make sure that that customer keeps coming back for you? And system number 3 is your win back machine, which is all those leads that didn't convert in the lead conversion engine, all these customers that canceled, how do you keep top of mind for these people so that they continue to buy from you? For this example, I'm going to just use an example. Shine On Cleaning, this is a fake company, guys. But we're going to do some back of napkin math so that I can show you how the impact that these systems have. And we're just going to use this company, which has 100 leads per month. So 25 leads per week is what they're getting. And their average booking price is $200. So let's look at the lead conversion engine. So for this one, what I want to communicate is cheap leads does not equal sales. If you keep chasing what system is going to be the cheapest, what platform is going to be giving me the cheaper leads, then you might be focusing on the wrong aspect. All right. As you all know, LSA can get expensive, kind of like high quality. But then I was working with this company and they were trying Google Ads, LSA. And then we're like, let's go to Meta, right? And then Meta give them $15 per lead, which was, wow, that's so cheap, right? Anybody else have gotten cheap leads from Meta? I know I have, right? Like $8, $7 per lead sometimes, but they are quality, the quality. So especially if you don't have the right follow-up in place, the right system to follow up with this lead. So they continued to do this. They were investing a bunch of money and kind of burning the money on ads, right? Because these leads were not converting. So we changed this, right? Like we changed the mindset that we have. It's like, what if we focus on building prettier ads and trying to get the cost per lead even lower? What if we just fix the follow-up? So we came up with the 10-touch follow-up, which it literally is a follow-up system that follows up and has the 10 different touch points between automatic text messages, automatic emails, voicemails, as well as cues for your sales team to follow up, right? We have all these across 3 weeks. And I gotta say, a lot of you might think that this is, too much, right? Like people are gonna be upset with me. Of course, we remove people from the follow-up if they say that they're not interested or if they already went with somebody else and they don't need, right? So you're not following up with everyone, but I would suggest that a lot of you out there are probably just not following up enough, right? If you're not doing, like we have tried 3-touch follow-up, 5-touch follow-up. And then right now we're at the 10-touch follow-up across the 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, because we've seen that that's what it works the most, right? People are they gotta be reminded. They're not, your business is not the center of their world at the moment. They're probably calling your competitors. So it's important to be there and it's important to be following up with them. So your lead conversion game plan has just a few steps. Number 1, you want to make sure that you're capturing every lead. That means that you are connecting all your website forms, right? Like if you have phone numbers, you can use tracking numbers so that you have one tracking number for your Google business profile. You have another tracking number for your website. You have another tracking number for your LSA account, pretty much anywhere that is out there. And my suggestion is get a tracking number for every single different source that you have, because you want to be able to track not only how many leads you're getting, but also how many conversions you're getting on all these sources. Your step number 2 is you go ahead and you implement the 10-touch follow-up, right? This is a funnel. This is a system. All the systems work the same. You have an entry point, something that starts, right? Like this is where you capture the lead. In this case, your entry point is a phone call or it's a website form. So you want to capture all that. And then at the end of the funnel, you have a conversion, right? Which is a goal. In this case, it's a customer, somebody, from a lead to a customer. That is your entry and your endpoint. And then in between that, you have the process, right? In this case, it's the 10-touch follow-up. And then you can use a CRM, customer relations management system, to build the system and automate some emails, automate some text messages, automate some voicemails, create tasks for your sales team to follow up. And you go ahead and you implement that. Then you want to track this. In all your funnels, have your conversion rate. All the funnels have a conversion rate, which is, again, entry point, like the goal or the conversion, and then the relationship between these two gives you a conversion. So if you have 100 leads and you get 30 customers, your conversion rate is 30%. You want to know that. You want to know that on every single source that you have as well. So how many leads did you get from LSA? How many conversions did you get from LSA? What is your conversion rate? How many leads did you get from your website form? How many conversions you get from your website form? What is your conversion rate? And then the last step is you got to fix the weakest step weekly. So you want to be able, this can be weekly, this can be monthly, but basically you want to be checking where are people converting? Like what is the step that people are converting? What is the step that hasn't brought any conversions? And then you want to have a plans to optimize this. Tracking all this is super important, guys. So you want to be tracking that. You want to understand what is working and what is not. And then on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis, you want to change what's not working. And then you want to replace that with something that is working or based on something that is working. All right, so that's your lead conversion plan. Yeah, I got some numbers over here just to kind of like bring it home. So we're going back to the example, Shine On Cleaning, right? So Shine On Cleaning, they had 100 leads. Let's say that they have a 20% conversion rate, which is similar to the conversion rate that I've seen in many cleaning companies that are not really tracking their numbers and they're not optimizing their conversion rate. It's usually 18 to 25% what we see, and 30 to 40% it should be the target in reality. So in this case, they had 20% conversion, 20 new customers at an average booking price of $200. That means that they're making $4,000 in new monthly revenue. Okay, it's not bad, but let's see what can happen if you just improve this a little bit. So you get the same amount of leads. Let's say that you go to 35% conversion. That means that you get 35 customers, which is 15 new customers, which is 75% increase, right, in revenue from the same ad spend, not increasing ad spend. $200, that means that you're getting $7,000, which is $3,000 more. Again, 75% in conversion just by fixing your follow-up system. Making sure that you're following up. In this case, we're working with different cleaners. Whenever we started with them, they actually had 18%. Within 90 days, we had this process in place. We were working with their team, making sure that the process is being followed, had some automation to help in the back end. And just by having this visibility into data, they were able to increase their lead conversion rate to 37%, I believe, 37%, which is an 85% increase in their lead conversion. Right? Imagine what that does to your customer acquisition cost. It makes it okay whenever they raise prices because you're able to adapt to it. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as I can. But let's get to system number 2, which is your retention maximizer. The message I want to share with this is stop bleeding clients. You already pay for these clients. Once you have a client and that client doesn't, it's not a recurring customer, that it becomes your hottest lead. If you're disregarding your one-time clients, right? Or even your recurring clients, if you don't have a process in place to retain them and get them to come back, then you're losing the majority of the opportunities that you have out there. Quick story for this. I was working for a local pet store in this case, and we were running ads, right? They hired us for ads. They were like, we just need more customers. We just need more customers. So we were running ads. Their margins were not so great, so they didn't want to do an offer. And the ads, they were kind of working, but they were not really, being profitable or not profitable enough. And they were struggling, right? So we took a step back, and I went back to that initial quote, right, that I told you before. The purpose of the first purchase isn't to make a profit, it's to acquire a customer. So I was like, how do we apply this? How do we gain their trust, right? And help them in a way that they can actually make this profit, right? And understand how this life cycle of a customer works. So we convinced them to actually, hey, let's just put a customer retention maximizer and let's start tracking this, right? Trust us, let's run an experiment. This experiment was meant to have a very good offer, a irresistible offer, which maybe meant that they were not going to break even in the first purchase, but we also had a follow-up in place to make sure that we were tracking how many of those customers were actually coming back and what was the ultimate ROI for this. So we came up with the retention maximizer framework. Step number 1 is you have to acquire a customer. Okay, that's where it starts. All these funnels are connected one to the other. So the lead conversion gives you the customer, and the customer becomes the entry point of your retention maximizer. Remember, you have an entry point, you have a goal, and then you have a process in place in between two. So number 1, acquire a customer. After that, you gotta set your retention goal. So in our case we want to make sure that 40% of the customers that came for this offer return within the first 90 days. Okay, that was our goal. So in cleaning companies, you can have a goal for a one-time customer. Say, hey, I want 30 or 40% of my customers to come back within 6 months. If it's a recurring customer, you want to say, I want to make sure that they stay for at least 3 bookings, because that's when they become more sticky. So you got to set your retention goal. Again, the customer is your entry point. Then you need a goal. How are you going to, what are you trying to achieve? Make sure that the goal is specific and measurable. So you set that retention goal. Then you build the system, you build the process, and you can get creative here. Test things out. Like you can do follow-up after the first booking to follow up and try to get a review and see how everything was. Then you can send them a gift card on the mail, or you can send them a postcard. You can follow up on month 1. On month number 3, you can give them a call. So you can get creative over here, right? I always like to think, do small campaigns, right? Like what are you going to do on month 1? Couple emails, couple text messages, right? On month 3, maybe give them a call. Like, hey, how's everything going? So get creative and build your system. And then the last step, as always, is measure and improve. This one is a little bit like a longer funnel, right? This is, I like to see, especially if you're thinking about one-time customers, I like to give it at least 6 months, because people are not going to buy again in 2 weeks, right? Unless they're a recurring customer. But if I hire you for a one-time customer, you have to work this on a longer basis, which means that you're probably reviewing your data from here on a quarterly basis. And then same thing, figure out what's working. If you didn't convert enough people, what can you change in the systems, right? Like what steps can you change? And if you did have conversions, what was the offer that converted, right? And then you can use that information to keep improving over time. Quick feedback on retention funnels for cleaning companies. Cleaning companies, especially if you're working with residential customers, you have 2 types of customers. You have one-time customers and you have recurring customers. And these are not the same, right? You want to treat these separately. You want to have different funnels for them. They're both like retention funnels, but it has different purpose, because the one-time customer does not have a future booking. So for that person, what you want is for them to book again. Ideally, book a recurring, become a recurring client. Whereas with a recurring customer, what we have seen is that anywhere from 70 to 90% of the cancellations usually happen within the first 3 bookings. So those first 3 bookings are key, right? Like what are you going to do in those first 3 bookings? What is the path that your customer is going to go through to make sure that they go through the 3rd cleaning hurdle and then they stick with you? It becomes super sticky whenever they're able to complete 3 bookings with you. So are you going to do something after the first cleaning, right? Are you going to give them a call? Are you going to give them a free add-on? Are you going to send them like a little handwritten letter after the 2nd cleaning? And then the primary goal for us is get them through the 3rd step hurdle. And after that is get them to refer. So that's another key goal that you can weave in this funnel. Hope I'm not going too fast, and I hope this is making sense and helping some of you. Again, feel free to leave any comments. I'll be happy to answer those. And let's do some numbers. So let's look at the year, right? Like we gotta look at the retention on a yearly basis, particularly because looking at it on a month by month or week by week, it's not enough time for this to compound. So let's look at the site that is without these funnels, right? Without the systems. Let's say that you get 240 customers per year, right? Which is the 20 customers that you were getting from the lead conversion times 12. So you're getting 240, and then they book one time. And then let's say, I'm trying to keep this simple. Let's say that you have one more booking on average, right? So that you get one more booking at $200 per booking. That means that 240 customers, one more booking at $200. That means that you're getting $48,000 in additional yearly revenue, which comes out to $4,000. Again, similar to the lead conversion, on a monthly revenue, you're getting $4,000 because people are coming one more time. That's okay, but let's see what happens whenever you have funnel 1 and funnel 2 together. So first of all, you're not getting 240 customers, you're getting 420, because the first thing that you fixed is your lead conversion engine, and that means that you're getting 35 new customers per month instead of 20. All right. And let's say that you only go to 1.5. So you only improve this so that you get 1.5 new bookings per customer. That means that you're getting $126,000 more per year, which comes out to $10,500 per month, which is a 262% increase in monthly revenue and revenue in general, which is crazy. Guys, are you getting this? Like, this is kind of like the core of this, like the how do you increase the lifetime value of your customers? And remember, you didn't pay more for this. This is from the same ad spend that you had initially, right? So this 262% increase in revenue, it's a lot more in ROI because you're not paying again. Like you're working the leads that you already paid for. You're increasing the lifetime value of your customer while maintaining the customer acquisition cost, or decreasing the customer acquisition cost if you do a good job in improving your conversion rate. So this is huge, guys. Just really quick, I'll walk you through the example that we had for that. I know it's a local pet store, but it was really interesting. What they had was a 50% of grooming. The owner didn't want to do it because it's like, dude, we're going to lose money with this, right? You're crazy. And I'm like, let's just try it out. Let's do it. Let's do it for a couple months. And if it doesn't work, then we can just scratch it out, right? But convince them. So 50% of the first service, in this case, was grooming. He was just breaking even, right? Like if we're paying the operator, he was just breaking even. And then we're like, okay, let's just do a small add-on. We had a little perfume, an $8 perfume that we were selling. Then 1 out of 4 people got it, right? You're getting your dog smells nice, and then you're like at the peak. So it's like, yeah, like I'll get the perfume. So 1 out of 4 got it. He got a small profit. Was cool. Okay, like we were like, it's not a big deal. But then what happened? We implemented this follow-up funnel, and we were sending automatic emails and SMS at day 30, 60, and 90. And 33% of customers rebooked within the first 90 days. Okay, they came back, they bought some food, they did another grooming. A lot of them did it like within the first month, right? But by the 90th day, which is what the experiment that we were running, we had 1 out of 3 were coming back, and then 22% got into a membership. Right? Like they were getting their food, yeah, I want to get my food delivered and discounts in grooming, and I'll come in grooming for once a month. So if you think about it, the first purchase, they acquired the customer, and then they made a little bit of profit. Not a lot of profit, but let's say that they were not making profit. Let's say that they were breaking even. So they were acquiring customers for $0, and they knew that almost 1 out of 4 customers was going to get on a subscription plan, and then 1 out of 3 was going to come back again. So that was crazy, like, right? Like that, then we were able to scale. The guy was happy. The issue became that the groomer didn't have enough space, right? Like it was like kind of like a small local place. So it was filled up, and like the results were great. And that's where every business should go, right? Like you should get to the point that the capacity issue is what's really holding you back, not a marketing budget. Because once you get that relationship between the lifetime value and the customer acquisition cost, then there's not really a marketing budget, right? It's just if the relationship works, if the numbers, if the math is out, then you can just go into just like scaling mode, and that's how you scale a company. So that is, guys, the system number 2, the retention maximizer. So let's go to the last system. The last system is the win-back machine. This is all those leads that didn't convert on the 10-touch follow-up, right? Like you had your lead conversion and they just went through the 3 weeks and they didn't convert. Or you had customers that they went through the retention maximizer, but then eventually they cancel, right? So that's when the win-back machine starts. And I want to go back to Mady's Cleaning because I think it's a great example. When I started working with Mady's, they had 15,000 contacts or more because they've been in business like 8 years. And I'm like, go, man, dude, let's just send an email and everything is going to be okay. Like we don't need ads. Let's just send an email. You have so many contacts. But I was wrong. Like it was not like that. It was actually, they have never really cleaned up their database. So whenever we started sending emails, the open rate was super low. Nobody was clicking. Nobody was buying. I'm like, what's happening? Like that is so strange. So I started doing what I like to do. I started, reading, studying, learning about email deliverability, what are the best practices. And I came up with there's quite a few strategies out there, but I'll give you what really work out the best. First is you got to clean up your list. Okay. That means that if somebody says, please unsubscribe me, you have to unsubscribe them. All right. You have to, like it's a law that you have to do it. So you don't want to get in trouble. But besides that, if somebody is not engaging with you, somebody's not opening your emails, you want to unsubscribe those people out there, right? If you're running this business for 10 years and somebody hasn't opened an email from you in like from 2015, you're not doing anything by sending them an email. In fact, you're not only not doing anything, you're doing on something wrong, because whenever you send a campaign and you have low quality metrics like low open rate, high spam rate, high bounce rate, that is not only not helping, that is actually having an issue. Like that's having a negative effect on your email deliverability, on your reputation. Google is tracking all that, and if they think that you're spamming people, then they'll actually send your email to spam. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that your list is clean by unsubscribing people on a periodic basis. For example, I have an automation that if in 6 months you haven't opened an email, then you get into a funnel that is like the unsubscribe funnel, and and we give you an offer. I say, hey, we're about to unsubscribe you. If you still want to receive our emails, just reply to this. We'll give you $50 off or something like that. And if they don't reply or they don't engage, then we go ahead and unsubscribe them. So that's number one. Number two is you have to implement this thing. A bunch of CRMs, most of the CRMs out there have it, but you can implement engagement scoring, which is just a fancy term to giving someone points based on things that they do. So if somebody opens your email, you can give them 5 points. If somebody clicks on your email, you can give them 10 points. If somebody submits a form, you can give them 20 points. And then based on these points, you can kind of like understand who is hotter from your leads, right? So for example, for me, anything below 20 points is a cold lead. We just continue to send emails to them. From 20 to 40 points, they're warm leads, right? And at that point, you might send them specific offers and you might tailor your communication and change it a little bit. And then above 40 points, it's hot. Whenever it's above 40 points, then you want to have a bell ringing for your sales team saying like, hey, this person is hot, and then go and call them or go and have like specific action towards them. So that is your second step. And then the third step is moment-based triggers. Right? Like I came up with this one working with sales teams, and we're like, so the retention maximizer is working really well. We're having like promotional campaigns going on a basis, but who else is hot, right? Who else is a hot lead for us? And we're like, well, how about recurring customers that haven't booked with us in a year? We didn't have a specific funnel for that. So I'm like, that's a good moment, right? And then I was like, what other moments in time, like in the life cycle of a customer or of a lead, is a good time, like anniversaries, right? Like any excuse, even if you can get their birthday whenever you're like talking to them, just in your CRM, just create a custom field. It's like, this is this person's birthday. And we're like, yeah, we'll send you a reminder on your birthday. We'll send you a gift on your birthday. You send them a $50 gift card, right? So like think about what moment-based triggers, an excuse for you to reach out to them, right? And that's the win-back machine. So let's just go through the kind of like the framework. First thing is clean up your list, unsubscribe people that are not engaging with you. Second, make sure that you're setting up engagement scoring, something called contact scoring, so that you can see with like points who has the highest amount of points, and then you know that these are the hottest leads. Then you want to create moment-based triggers and special moments, right? And then the last thing that you want to do is run monthly reactivation promos, which is basically, it's Christmas. So you send a Christmas email, right? It's Halloween. You send a Halloween email. Every month has something like, like right now we're in summer love, right? Then we got back to school, like there's so many things that can be run as monthly reactivation promos. And then the last thing is, as always, test and optimize. Send the email. Make sure that you're getting enough open rates. If your open rate is too low, then you might want to change your subject line, or you might need to unsubscribe more people. Total amount of sales is good, but a metric that I like to measure is what is the revenue per contact. So if I send an email to 2,000 or 3,000 people, how much revenue is that email generating for me? And the closer I can get to $1 per contact, it tells me that we are in a good track, in the sense that we're healthy. We have a healthy email list. And then if it's too low, then again, I might run some tests, test out different subject lines, test out email with design versus an email that is only text, reply versus book now. But a lot of times it's just your email is too cold, like your email database, right? And the contacts are too cold, and you just need to unsubscribe people and start kind of like from scratch. You're always subscribing people, but you always have to be unsubscribing people as well. So that's it, guys. Let's just do a quick recap. You get system number one, which is your lead conversion engine, which, if you're not following up, you'll be making $4,000 with, 100 leads. But if you are following up, that becomes 7,000, which is a $3,000 increase. System number 2, everybody comes back one more time, so you get 4,000 more. But if you get more customers and then you get them to come back a little bit more than without the follow-ups, you get 10,500, which is $6,500 of revenue increase. System number 3, which is your win-back machine. If you're not sending any emails right now and any win-back promos, then right now, if you're not making any money, that could, with a 4,000 or 5,000 contact list, that can easily become $1,000 in added revenue per month. So in the monthly total, $8,000 without the proper follow-ups can become $18,500 with the right follow-ups, which is $10,500 more, which is $126,000 per year in additional revenue, which is 2.29x the amount of revenue. And remember, you're only using the same ad spend. All these funnels, except for funnel number 1, funnel number 1 does work with ads, but all these other funnels, funnel number 2, and then the funnel number 3, are with the same marketing spend. Nothing else changes. So if you're getting 2.29x the revenue, and you're not increasing the ad spend, and the big majority of the revenue is coming from funnel number 2 and funnel number 3, then your ROI is way over the 3x. And that is, guys, the 3-funnel recap. I hope this was helpful. I know we went through a lot of things, and this might have been, might feel you a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe you're excited. I hope this was valuable for some of you. And on the next 2 or 3 minutes, if it's okay with you, I just want to go through a very special offer that I have. I know some of you are ready to go ahead and try this by yourself and go for it. Like, really, I'm rooting for you. If some of you would like to get some help and try to, avoid some of the mistakes that we did and just do something that is just kind of like a done for you, then we have what is called the Home Service Growth Engine, which is a very special package that includes everything that we discussed right now, all your 3-funnel package. And besides that, we also have our own proprietary experimentation and optimization process. Again, I told you, I'm super obsessed with the data with this, but it's all about improving the conversion rate. How do you make sure that every single one of these funnels is not only implemented, but that next quarter your conversion rate is better than last quarter's conversion rate? So we have a very special process on how we use growth hacking methodology, which is basically experimentation, like quick experimentation, have a hypothesis, test it, run it, learn from it. If it works, scale it. If it doesn't, iterate or change it. Then we also have our own QA process, quality assurance, to make sure that everything is working fine, because automation things can get disconnected, or if you have something that is not working properly and you're not auditing, then you might be having some issues in communication and things like that, which you want to avoid. And besides that, we run monthly revenue campaigns. We'll have a personalized onboarding. We will also review your customer data and conversions, so we give you the benchmarks of where you are and where you can be. And as a bonus, we're including the ROI accelerator, which is basically we will be working with your sales team, because a lot of you are cleaning company owners, so you have VAs or you have salespeople, and you're like, yeah, I want these funnels, right? But I don't know if my team is going to be implementing this. So for the first 30 days, we have a ROI accelerator, which is we're basically working with your sales team into implementing, we're auditing, we're giving them an accountability system to make sure that everything is working out, which is usually $497 per month. And besides that, we found some good uses in AI. AI is still not 100% there. It's not there to substitute a salesperson, but it's great for a website chatbot and giving quotes. And it's great if your sales team is busy, instead of a voicemail, right, to have an AI bot answer, or after hours. So we have found a few really good use cases for AI, and that's actually included in this package. And then also the web lead capture suite, which is basically will make sure that you have a website that is optimized with a pop-up and with a website chatbot, so you're capturing more of the leads that you are already getting. So all that usually comes to a value of $30,882, but we're of course not going to be charging that. Our pricing for this is $997 per month with a $497 setup fee. So that is our core service, guys. And for the Made Summit people especially, we created something something exclusive, which is a free trial of a system number one, so your lead conversion system for 30 days. We got 10 spots over here. And if you want to see if you qualify, you can go ahead and you can scan the QR code. We'd love to talk to you. Again, this will be if you're already making at least 20 leads per week, so 80 leads per month, 15, 20 leads. At anything below that, you can still use the systems, but they're not going to be as useful for you as if you're getting to a point that leads are a little bit too much to handle. So if you're making over 60 leads per month and you are working in the US and Canada, then feel free to scan the QR and we'll be happy to talk to you. So I hope this was useful, everybody. It was a pleasure to be here with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.